In a world where extreme competition exists everywhere, what does it take to have success in your career and in life? Join me, Nirvana Chaudhary, as I sit down with some of the most successful individuals to discover the secrets to their success, what continues to drive them, and to hear a few exclusive stories in the process. What drives them and their success code, their mantra for making it bigger. Hello everyone, this is Nirvana Chaudhary. I'm back again with my podcast, Making It Bigger, this time in Dubai. I'm here with probably one of the most successful, one of the most humble, a very dear friend, musical artist, very well known in the electronic dance genre. Nicola is here with me, also known by his popular name, stage name, Liquid Soul. Nicola, thank you so much for coming on my show.
My pleasure.
So, Nicola, you've been such a prominent artist globally, fan following all around the world, especially in Nepal. You've come up with such innovative tracks that play such an important part in people's emotions, their life, their spirituality also. And it has a deep sense and meaning into their life. As a musician, as an individual, what's your success mantra? What is it that keeps you going?
Well, I think the most important thing is to be original. Like, find your sound and release your emotions and think about how you are. Like, I think about what I want to experience on the dance floor, like the emotions of I don't know, let's say high excess in a way. And but personally, I think it's very important to be original. I mean, get influences from everywhere, but keep your sound very pure and very pure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, I can relate that in the business or as an entrepreneur or even any other field. You get inspired by things around you, by people, but the key to success is originality, that individuality, right?
Honesty, I think, as well.
Honesty, absolutely. Tell me, Nicola, you've started playing music, making music, 15 years now?
Well, I started basically in 1994, DJing, and then in 1997, I would say, I started to produce trance music. 2001, I switched to psytrance, and since then, Liquid Soul.
Tell me that one moment, right? You always have that one moment in your life where you're like, wow, I know this is for me. I know this is my passion. I know this is what I'm going to continue my life in. Tell me that one moment which you can probably share with me. Yeah, when you realized that, and what went on to your mind?
So the moment I remember very well, when I used to listen to heavy metal music and stuff, and then I went to a friend and he played the first trance track I ever heard. I even remember what it was and everything, and then I was telling him like, wow, man, what is that? And he said, that's trance music, something very new. And I was like, wow. So I got really explosion in my head somehow, and I knew I really want to follow that and want to explore that. So I started to buy music and then I started to play music, of course, but I had no idea how and what I'm doing actually. So because I was way too young, I was like 14 years old actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes, when I first time. And then the problem was always after a while that I listened to songs and I thought, why he did the break now, and why he did that now, or why he chose this sound or not that sound. And then it was kind of logic that I wanted to try myself to make it better in a way. Not saying I do it better because it sounded not good what I did, but it was just like I wanted to express my feelings in the end instead of just playing other music. That was the main thing. But the big change was just when I heard it first time. Basically, it was just an explosion in my head. I knew this is what I want. This is what really attracts me.
Experimenting, listening, that moment saying, wow, I can just play around with it, do it better and better and better, right? Growing up 90s, with your vinyls and then moving on to CDs and then USBs. Today, not only in the music world, but overall the dynamics of the life has changed. We are all going digital, cloud, everything, right? And today, How has that really changed the music scene? Do you think it's become better?
Not necessarily better, because I believe like when we had less things or less technical things, we had to spend more time and kind of reach a point with more simple stuff. So it was more pure. Today you have so much possibilities that most of the music lost its essence in a way. There is amazing music still around, but the amount is huge or too huge. Everybody with a laptop can make music now, which is not wrong, which is actually good. But the quality should be over quantity in a way. And I feel a little bit that we lose that a bit, or the experimental one, or that I don't know, like just to create more originalities in the end. So it's really a tough question, because of course everything became bigger and better in a way, but in the other hand, quality wise of songs, not the production, the songs itself. Because I make maybe an easy example that when you know 80s music or 90s music, after 2-3 seconds of playing a track, you know, it's this track. Today, you don't experience that anymore.
That's very good.
So you know straight away, this is this one. Oh, this is this one. It almost doesn't exist anymore. So I cannot say it's bad or good, but it's definitely different. Yeah.
Okay. Today in the business world, right, you have the founders, say 20, 30 years ago. They had a particular way of doing business in a particular environment for a particular market, coming out of the particular product, right? And if they're, as a founder of a company, if they have to grow their company, they can be the biggest lifeline or a bottleneck to the growth, depending if they adapt to the next generation, the changes. In music, that must be so challenging as well, right? Like you're playing one set of tracks, for that 90s, 2000, your music has evolved. Unless you keep evolving your music, going with your time. I mean, let's say back in the day, there would be 100 DJs or musicians coming up with a track. Those 100, you can only think of 40. And then another 10 years later, 20. Out of that, 10 years later, only maybe 5. Because those 5 have kept on evolving yourself. Is that how it works?
Yes, you have to involve, but you always struggle to involve, and you actually don't want to involve because you feel like you need to adapt. So to adapt is never pleasant, let's say, in a way, until you've done it. But you always struggle, like, how can I say, like, also people telling me sometimes, why you don't make music like 10 years ago or 20 years ago? And then I say, like, because it doesn't work anymore. You can still listen it for that time, and those people, it was amazing, it was also new. Now you have a different generation, they don't understand that kind of music. So you need to involve to adapt the now, let's say.
The new generation.
The new generation and the now, because it changes. So you have to go slowly with the time, let's say, but trying to keep your own style in that involvement. That's very important, I think. Otherwise you lose yourself as well. Or you sell off, let's say, which is also many people do, which is not bad as well. But it's not my style. I want to keep doing what I really love with the new generation, of course. Yeah.
Okay, last question. 2 years has been difficult, life-changing, positive, negative for the whole world, okay? Especially for someone who is a musician, who is into creativity, who is going around, seeing the world and showcasing his product. You were just caught in this situation. You're like, wow, I'm now stuck in this room or my house. What do I do now? What are the 3 most important learnings in this last 2 years? As an individual, as a musician?
Yeah. It was a big shock. It was also a bit scary. But I must admit that the first 2-3 months I stayed at home or sitting at home from one day to another, it was very, very enjoyable. because I didn't have this for years and years and years. So it was very good. After the 3 months, I start to, let's say, my brain started to be weird in a way, because I didn't have this. When you go every weekend, you go somewhere, you meet people, you see new stuff, and you have new impressions, and suddenly it doesn't happen anymore. It's very tough to manage that in a way. So it can be even a bit depressing, or you can fall in a hole in a way.
Right.
And also, you're trying to go to the studio. Okay, you have time suddenly to create music, but you don't have inspiration because it just nothing happens. So it's a very, very tough situation. For myself, I got to know myself a bit better because I wasn't that busy anymore. On the other hand, it was very hard to balance the positivity and the negativity in life in a way, because there comes also some kind of you become afraid in a way from the future, because you don't know what's coming, or if it's ever come back, basically. So it's a tough situation, but for good and bad. And I think musically you become again a bit more free, because you don't have the impressions. So you don't, but we just talked before, like you have to go with time, and suddenly time stands still. So you can create a new way of, you can have more time to experience, let's say, experiment with your music. Sure, trying to keep on your style, but you become more free. But it's ups and downs, and sometimes you sit in the studio, it doesn't work at all because no impressions. And sometimes you feel like, okay, now I made something very nice, but I don't know if it works because you cannot try with the audience. It's very, very hard thing. Yeah? And then suddenly you have to go and gig again for 2 months, and then what happened now? And then it's like, oh my God,
But I think also gives the chance to learn about other things in life as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Suddenly you had time for other stuff, because we were focused for 25 years only on music. So then luckily I found something which I can spend my time, but yeah.
We'll talk about that Da Vinci Code in a later segment, but thank you so much, brother. It's such a pleasure listening to you. I've been a big fan. You've really inspired me in life with your humility, with your honesty, with your love, with your devotion to your music, to your track, to your life, to your friends. Thank you so much for being you all the time and coming for my podcast.
Thank you very much, and actually I can just say the same to you as well.